I'm the one that brings the Christmas candy. And I'm the one that drinks the devil's brandy. Dog will hunt. Sorry, wrong movie. Run, rabbit! What up, guys? It's your old pal Bobo here with BrassReel Movie Reviews. Thanks for coming back for some more popcorns. Sorry I've had a lack of actual reviews here lately. I've just been really busy trying to develop some other projects, and I'm trying to survive and pay my bills. Which, by the way, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel so I can do this full time. And I wasn't able to get to all the reviews I wanted to do during the Halloween season, so I'm just continuing to do more horror films all throughout Thanksgiving. And I'm just gonna make that drastic switch at Christmas time to the Christmas films. And with November and Thanksgiving kind of being all about family, I figured what better than a movie to start it off with than House of a Thousand Corpses. Oh, shit. Now I know what you're saying. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like the greatest family horror film, but don't worry, I'm saving that one for Thanksgiving Day. But House of a Thousand Corpses. Let me just start off by saying I adore this movie. This movie was a AAA+ as soon as I started watching it, to be honest with you. I love the way it feels. It sucks you right back into that feeling of when you were a kid watching Monster Vision on TNT with Joe Bob Briggs. I mean, right away, this whole thing where they're showing this black and white stuff, an introductory to a horror movie you're about to watch, it just all feels extremely nostalgic. And then you got the black and white commercial with Captain Spaulding where it's
like tasty fried chicken. It just tastes so damn good.
So funny and so weird and creepy. Then right away you get that dolly shot moving backwards, and it's showing the sign, Spaulding, and then it's moving backwards more and more and more, but it's super slow, and it's just setting the stage for this little area that's just gonna be filled with terror. But I truly do feel like it grabs you like from the get-go because of that commercial and the way that dolly shot pans out. If you're a horror fan, I'm telling you, it reels you in immediately. The look, the lighting, everything about it. And then once you realize it's set in the 70s, it's even much better. But you see Captain Spaulding right away talking to his buddy, and they're just talking all this shit. And it's terrible what they're talking about, but it's so funny. Sid Haig is a god in my eyes, God rest his soul, but he's barely in this movie. Now, don't get me wrong, he comes along and has a way bigger part in Devil's Rejects, but he's barely in this movie, but he makes such an impression on you from the get-go. He's super charming and extremely uncomfortable, and he feels unpredictable the entire time. He's always talking. I just love it.
God damn.
The dialogue is juicy and rich. It feels like Quentin Tarantino style dialogue. And to me, this was sort of the culmination of Rob Zombie's directing visions and dreams all being finally put into play. It's sort of like his life's work in the film department finally come to fruition. And not only is Sid Haig awesome, like I said, he's not in the movie a ton, but when he's in it, he's in it. This is also where Rob Zombie started getting involved with his soon-to-be wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, which at this time was Sherry Moon. But she's awesome in it. I mean, her laugh, the whole she said the maiden.
Shoo said the maiden.
I mean, all of that is just priceless. And there's multiple other characters to pay attention to in this movie. You got this one guy named Hugo who's telling all these dirty jokes in front of people. Good God, it's so funny.
Tell you a little story. Eat your mom's pussy!
And so disturbing.
Damn your face! Ah, no, don't you be quiet. You're gonna wake up Grandma!
This movie crosses off all the boxes. It's disturbing, it's funny, it's gruesome, it's nostalgic in the horror vibe, it's even gothic, it's retro. It also has this whole neon vibe going to it. I mean, it's just everything about it just screams, here you go, horror fans. But for me, the person that steals the show the entire time and continues to steal the show throughout the franchise is the great Bill Moseley. Oh man. Otis is truly a character to be feared on screen. Like, out of all fictional characters that I've seen on screen, and especially in horror, he might be like the scariest to me. His frame of mind, the stuff that he says, The way he looks, just everything about him is terrifying. And his acting is so badass. Now remember, this is the same guy who played Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That's why I was getting it mixed up, because in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, he yells out, dog will hunt.
Dog will hunt.
Oh, and you can't forget the great,
Lick my plate, you dog dick.
and there's so many more great lines in that movie. And I have to think that Rob Zombie was like, all right, Bill Moseley, I want you to slightly channel Chop Top in there, just a little. Because when he's saying stuff like,
I'm the one who brings the Christmas candy.
or especially the Run Rabbit,
Run, rabbit, run. Run, rabbit.
Run Rabbit,
Run, rabbit. Run, rabbit.
it's so just, it gets to you, and it's only he could deliver that performance like that. If they would have gotten anybody else to play Otis, it would not have been as effective. I'm 100% convinced of that. The whole premise is this group of kids with Rainn Wilson, Chris Hardwick, and then Jennifer Jostin and Aaron Daniels. Just the classic premise. These guys are on a road trip, they need gas, and they stop to pull over at this rando gas station that's pretty sketchy, because they sell gasoline and fried chicken there. But it's simple. They stumble upon this gas station and horror ensues. And there's all these crazy different setups of why they can't get out of this area. You even have some moments of hope where you're like, oh, nice, they're getting away. But it's silly to think that. You're watching a Rob Zombie movie. But once they get there, they start to meet this family one by one. And it all happens in a weird chain of events of them like getting stuck on the side of the road. You get to meet Mother Firefly, played by Karen Black, which again, creepy. Everybody's creepy in this movie. Oh, and then there's Tiny, God rest his soul, played by the late, great Matthew McGrory. But still, twisted, and he's just it's just messed up, man. Like when he's eating the cereal at that one point. But like I said, they all get either captured or killed. We got the whole Dr. Satan thing, which finally what happens is that there's this whole underground, this gothic vibe of this Dr. Satan layer of him working on people and experimenting on people. It's hard to explain until you watch it. It gets a little wacky actually at one point, but that's kind of what I like about it. That's kind of what's so crazy about it. It just turns into this like, oh my God. I mean, it has like this Alice in Wonderland vibe, because the main girl, Jennifer Jostin, she's literally dressed up in this little outfit that looks like Alice in Wonderland. She has makeup on her, and it really is, there is a vibe of Alice in Wonderland in there. But just like there's a vibe of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in there. And he wasn't ripping them off. He was truly just saying, I love these movies. I was inspired by them. Let me show you my idea of what could happen in a sort of like melting pot of both. I mean, but there's this haunted ride that Captain Spaulding takes him on. Like I said, that jacked up comedy show they gotta watch. But all of that is just creeping you out. The real horror hits is when they're trying to leave and they just get flanked by everybody. And it's not just your normal like people coming up to like flank them and banging on their cars. No, it's dudes hanging up on crosses like scarecrows with pumpkin heads. So creepy. But after that, I mean, it just completely just goes so downhill for all of them. Rainn Wilson gets turned into a fish boy.
Behold! Fish boy!
Chris Hardwick just becomes a test subject for all of them. For Dr. Satan, oh yeah, and he's target practice for Otis. Sherry Moon scalps him. Ugh. The whole movie is just the epitome of Grindhouse horror. I literally I devour this movie every time I watch it. There's so much to talk about this movie. I mean, the way the cops get involved with Waddell, which also Walt Goggins is in there. But then the main girl's father gets involved, and I mean, then there's just the whole Christmas candy scene.
When you're bad. And I'm the one who loves you when you're pantsing around where you don't belong. And it's all true.
I'm terrified and I love it. You're suffering with these people the whole time. But it's not like watching Hostel or Saw or something like that, because it's just super creative and animated all over the place. I mean, it's just, I'm telling you, if you hadn't seen this movie, you gotta watch it. There's a scene where the cops and the dad are teaming up and they're trying to find the daughter and the group of kids, and then they stumble upon all these girls in this barn, and the way the music playing on top of it, and the way it's all shot so seamlessly, and it feels like just one big take, even though it's different shots. But because this song is playing over it, it's all done in this slow motion deal, and Otis creeps out from behind the corners, and the mom kills the cop Waddell, and it's just all done so well. A beautiful scene. Not to mention the ending of that scene, topping it off with it just going super quiet. the camera zooming far, 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 far out. It's just taking forever. And then Otis finally shoots Walt Goggins. And it's just... beautiful cinema. Awesome filmmaking. I think everybody will agree with me on this. You can tell that Rob Zombie had filmmaking oozing out of him at this point in his life. So the Christmas candy line's great.
I'm the one who brings the Christmas candy.
The Devil's Brandy's line is great.
I'm the one who brings the devil's brandy.
Run, rabbit!
Run, rabbit!
But the best line in this movie from Otis, by far, is when he says this.
The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
That's chilling. Every time I watch this movie, I love it, love it, love it, and it's very effective. It makes me glued to the screen. That's why I give House of 1000 Corpses an A+. Now look, that's if you're a horror movie fan. If you're not a horror movie fan, you ain't gonna like this movie, but if you love horror, to me, this movie was truly made for you. And what's really great is that he made a sequel to this movie that I'm gonna be reviewing next called Devil's Rejects, and it ain't nothing like this one, but it's the same characters. You just have to see what I'm talking about, but we'll get to it. That'll do it for this for you guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you can help us make it to the top. And as always, if life gives you lemons, make some hot, fresh